Hello, and thank you so much for being here. My name's Faye, and I run Faye Wild Education and Faye Wild Photography. And part of my job and how I've grown my business so much is through style shoots. The Faye Wild workshops are probably one of the things that I'm most well known for, and the thing that helps people find me as an educator in the photography space. So today I'm going to be breaking down some key components of how to organise a style shoot, things that have helped me to not only organise them, but organise ones for a good reason, onboard the best suppliers ever, maintain those relationships, and also get the best reach for my style shoot content after the shoot has happened. So yeah, let's dive in. So style shoots are brilliant because they are the key to getting more of the work that you like and you align with out in front of your audience and converting them into booked clients. So not only are they going to generate more bookings, but they're also going to help the right bookings find you. What I mean by that is, when I first started, I was doing loads of shoots. I didn't really know what I was doing. As the years have gone on, I've really lent into soul food. My workshops have got more creative, they've got more artful, and as a result of that, the clients that I'm attracting are into those same things, and then they're booking me to shoot their own weddings with design that I find inspiring, dresses that I'm obsessed with, outfits that I'm obsessed with, locations that I'm obsessed with. I could go on and on. So the main benefit of doing style shoots is that you get to project your soul food work, like the work that you're most excited about creating, into the universe and attracting more of that same work, because people buy into what they see. So if you're sharing work that you're not excited about, maybe it's venues, or like in my instance, it would be things like barn weddings. I find them really hard to shoot. That sort of environment is not the most inspiring for me, especially things like teepees, the way that they affect the skin. And I'm massively into the skin, like the way I edit is all centered around making like skin look healthy and glowy, which is really hard to achieve in a teepee wedding, especially inside in summer when everyone's bright orange. So when you first start with anything new, you've got the idea of where you want to be, you've got people that you look up to, and you know what you want your work to look like, but you do not have the skill. So in those early days, it's very much a dance between improving your skills, but also generating income so that you've got more money to invest back into the business so you can keep growing and keep getting better. So style shoots can be really beneficial at helping you get into the faces of the right people that are going to book you to do work that you feel aligned with. But how do you organise them? Well, I've been running shoots since 2017, and they organically shifted into the Faye Wild workshops 2 years ago, and since then I've done lots of workshops Europe-wide. If you search the hashtag Faye Wild workshops on Instagram, you can have a little nosy, because they will be coming back at some point this year. We will see, ... when are they coming back? So in this video, I'm going to be talking about how I organise shoots and the advice that I would give to new photographers or photographers that haven't organised their own shoots before, what I would do, what I would prioritise. I will also say that I sell a guide on this on the Faye Wild Education store, which is going to go through everything in loads more detail, break it down step by step, and it's also going to give you examples of things like emails to send to suppliers, emails to submit your weddings, like to things like blogs and submissions. So yeah, let's dive in. So the first thing that I'm going to focus on is why. Why are you doing this shoot? Now, the chances are you're trying to market your business, but what are you trying to market your business for? Because if you've got no sort of pre-thinking before you go into it, you're just going to end up creating more of the work that you've already got, and it's not going to be any benefit to you at all. So are you wanting to get more of a certain venue because doing a shoot at that venue would be a really good idea? Are you unhappy with the fashion that you're seeing at weddings? Would it be a really good idea to work with a really cool, edgy fashion designer that's going to show off more silhouettes that you love shooting, for example? Is it that you have been pigeonholed and you just keep getting more and more inquiries for the same wedding? Like, say you've done 100 TP weddings, so now that's all you're getting inquiries for, but actually you'd like to go into more country manners, something like that. So the venue is normally the main thing that people are considering when thinking about style shoot. The design and everything else comes way after. Some of the motivations for me over the years have been making sure that I've got as much inclusivity as possible in my portfolio. So working with people of all different shapes, sizes, genders, sexualities, I want to make sure that when someone lands on my Instagram, they feel represented and they know that it is a safe space and that everybody is welcome here. Another thing that really motivates me is when I was trying to build up my destination portfolio. I did a lot of shoots abroad as practice before to really sort of determine whether or not I actually wanted to do destination weddings abroad. So doing shoots abroad was like a really nice way of seeing whether I could hack the travel, all that jazz. If you know what you're trying to get out of it, it will be a lot easier to organise it. So the second thing that I'm going to focus on is going to be mood boards. Ideally, you want to use something like Pinterest or Canva to put all your ideas together. Pinterest is going to be easier because it's going to be easier to search things, whereas Canva, you're going to have to manually save images and put them onto the mood board. When you are creating your mood board, I'd really recommend that you use sections. Sections are going to be really good in not confusing the line later on. What I mean by that is you might have a gorgeous image of a setup, a ceremony setup, flowers, seats, everything. You only really like the shape of the aisle or the texture of the flowers or whatever it could be, but images are open to interpretation. So it's really important to have things like colour as a mood board. Some of the suggestions could be flower texture, flower sculpture, because you might only be able to find reference images that are bright blue and you don't want bright blue flowers. But if you send that to the florist and you've not specified what you love about the image, it's going to make things quite tricky. So using sections on your Pinterest board is going to be ideal. The next thing that I'm going to talk to you is about the design and the visuals and the mood boards off the back of that. So you can't achieve everything with one shoot. My advice would be to keep things really, really small. Do you want to focus on the venue? Then sort out some setups outside and maybe one table setup. Do you want to focus on fashion? Get 10 dresses. Whatever you do, don't try and do this and this and this and this and this all at the same time. It's going to be way too much. You're going to get overwhelmed. You're not going to be able to do it. So focus on one thing, one setup, get that right, and then after you've done that one tiny setup, you can go big next time. But definitely for the first shoot that you ever do, keep it small. You don't even need a model for the first setup that you do. You could do a cool setup like a DIY champagne tower in a field like 2 streets behind your house. It really doesn't matter. The whole point of it is you're doing something creative and it's going to be really fun, but don't try and do 100 things at once. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is budget, which I know for a lot of people is a dirty word, but it's really important. Now, when I first started, the amazing thing was that workshops, style shoots, everything was quite new. So it was really, really easy to find people to do things TFP, which is trade for print, i.e. you do not have to pay anything. People will just give up their time, and if they're like flowers, for example, or their stationery costs anything, they swallow the cost themselves and they're happy to do it. For other suppliers, they don't generate as much income as we do from weddings in general, even really high paid bookings, because they've got materials, they don't make as much as we do, and a lot of suppliers, as a result of that, are being really selective about the shoots that they're doing, if they're doing shoots at all. So it's a really good idea to be realistic about how much you can afford to put into this. If you've got no budget, you can still organise a shoot, but maybe it'll be with some friends of yours in a dress from ASOS that you're going to send back in a field. It's not going to be in a venue with venue hire, cleaning fees, all that jazz. So be really realistic about your budget. If you're somebody that invests a lot in style shoots and workshops that other people have organised, maybe you could just start by paying a set fee. Like most workshops in the UK at the moment are between 500 and 850 quid. So maybe for your first one, you give yourself a budget of 850 quid. For that price, you might be able to get a studio hire for half a day. You might be able to put some money into the florals, and maybe you can put money into a model for a couple of hours. If you've got less, just rope your friends in, lean on the connections that you have, think about the people that are in your orbit, how they could help you. You don't need to spend lots and lots of money, but once you've got that first shoot under your belt, it's going to be a lot easier to get suppliers on board. But initially, you probably are going to need a little bit of budget, and if you've not got budget to pay for suppliers and to contribute to costs, then you're just going to have to use your own orbit. The next thing is going to be to determine a date, and this is really important. There is no point in reaching out to any suppliers until you've got a location and until you've got a date, because you're just wasting everybody's time. Nail down the venue, nail down the date, only then can you start to organise other things. If you've got a model couple, that's normally the second thing that I organise, because most suppliers want to know who the photographer is, but easy, it's going to be you, who the model couple is, and where the venue is. Those are the 3 priorities. Obviously, if you're the photographer organising it, that's one thing done, but the other 2 need to be sorted out. Only then can you organise the rest of the suppliers. As I said before, if you've got a limited budget, you might not need an extensive team of suppliers. If you've got no idea what suppliers you need, have a look on captions lists from popular workshops, have a look at what sort of suppliers other people are working with. That's going to be a really easy starting point. The next thing that I'm going to talk to you about is onboarding suppliers. So I've already mentioned putting some of their work into the mood board. Also consider engaging with them for a little bit of time before you just go out with the cold email asking them to take part. When you are getting in touch with them, your approach with this is going to depend on two things. A, how friendly you are with this person already, and B, how much they need the content. If you are going for people that are of a similar budget to you, which I would recommend in the beginning, you're probably going to find it easier to onboard those people. But if you are going for people that are a few steps ahead of you, you need to really think about what's in it for them. What can I give them as a photographer to help them? So the first thing I'd say is consider things like offering to do branding shoots for them on there. Say things like, when you send your initial onboarding email, say things like, I know that you're really busy. Thank you so much in advance for considering working with me. I've loved your work for ages, as well as giving you X amount of money towards the flowers for the shoot. I keep saying florists, but that's because florists do have really high costs, so typically those are the ones that people chip in for. But could you consider getting them some branding photos when they're on the shoot? Or could you say to them, I'm happy to work with a shots list that you give me if you want landscape images for your website, or let me know. But just think about how you can sort of sweeten the deal of doing a style shoot with you even more, so that these suppliers are going to say yes. The last thing that I'm going to talk about is conduct on the day, in terms of not necessarily what you wear, because it's a shoot, so people will probably be quite casual, at least a lot more casual than we would be at real weddings. But I'm just going to tell you some ways that I make good impressions when I'm working with suppliers on workshops. And it's little things like getting snacks for everybody, getting a costa on the way there, making sure that you're saying thank you and celebrating all the hard work that's going on around you. Just being a team player. On the day, if you can see somebody moving a table, help them move it. Just be as helpful as possible, because everybody's knackered. We do a really, really hard job, and shoots, we do them because it's fun. So if you can just be a bit of a team player, make sure that you're helping out other people as much as you can, they're more likely to want to work with you. Whereas if you go in and you're just thinking about your marketing, your deliverables, as in you're just thinking about yourself and what you're going to get from the shoot, that's going to leave a really bad taste in everybody's mouths, and they're not going to want to work with you. Over the years of running the Feywild workshops, I've got a really good reputation for really looking after suppliers. It's something that is incredibly important to me. I will shoot every single thing that everybody sends, because I remember when I was a stationer, I used to stay up all through the night, send this stuff off to workshops and shoots. Sometimes I wouldn't even get it back. I wouldn't get images. Once I got it sent back and it had been rained all over and they'd still not got any photos, somebody had just left it on a bench outside. Those experiences, as awful as they were at the time, have been really, really helpful for me now as a photographer, because I really, really appreciate all the intricate parts that make up a shoot, and I'm able to make sure that those suppliers feel valued and they feel important. And little things like just being helpful, giving them a hand, getting some BTS for them, offering to take branding photos. It's things that will take 2 minutes out of my day, but they're going to have a really positive, lasting impact. And the way that I always think about it is, people will not remember what you said, but they will remember how you made them feel. So when you're going into these collaborative environments, a team player, try to be a good person. If you found this helpful, the workbook is definitely going to help you. It's got step-by-step instructions on how to achieve not just the things that I've talked about, but other things as well, including things like submissions, getting your work seen, and also optimizing the reach of the photos. So how are you going to optimize those processes after you've completed the shoot to get as much back from this investment of both time and resources as you can? Do consider liking and subscribing. I'm sharing loads of helpful tips over on YouTube.